The first Chavez-Randall fight created shocking results and surprising headlines.
The date was January 29th. The champion, the undefeated Julio Cesar Chavez. Although a recent tie against Pernell Whitaker had taken away a little of his luster, Chavez's 5 world titles and 89 victories had for years earned him the accolade of the world's greatest fighter, pound for pound. The challenger, the often overlooked and always underrated Frankie Randall. Winner of close to 50 fights, Randall had earned the nickname the Surgeon for his ability to dissect his opponents. But throughout his 11-year career, this 15-to-1 long shot had never been granted a title fight until now.
I hadn't had a chance to fight for a title fight, and I wanted to come out and perform my best. If I would have performed my best and lost, I still would have been satisfied with myself.
Randall did come out performing his best. Using his speed and effective jab and accurate combinations, he piled up points during the first 3 rounds.
I really thought Randall would get tired. The way I was fighting those first 3 rounds, I figured he'd run out of gas. I really thought that if I kept up the pressure, I'd be able to knock him out in the later rounds. And the outcome of the fight would have been different.
Starting in the 4th round, Chavez began to pick up the pace, forcing the action with right hand leads to the head, trademark left hooks to the body, and relentless pressure.
He tries to do that in every round. He tries to go farther and harder and stronger. And I had to bring myself up to be where he was in order to make the fight a better fight for each other.
Entering the 7th round, Chavez was narrowly ahead when referee Richard Steele made the first of 2 controversial decisions.
Look at that punching machine. Low blow by Chavez, and that time it really got to Randall.
I certainly don't feel like I threw any low blows. They were all to the midsection of the body.
I got pictures and proofs to see that you can see that he hit me low.
The momentum of the fight continued to shift, round to round, minute to minute, as each man gave as good as he got. Entering the 11th, Chavez was slightly ahead on 2 of the 3 scorecards. But the next 3 minutes would prove to be the most disastrous in his long and illustrious career.
He hit him low, but I'll tell you what, there's a world championship being taken away. Julio Cesar Chavez very, very upset at Richard Steele.
That one right there, it hurt. So I pulled it off and I tried to get my wind back and get everything going back again and come back again. Then he took a point away. That's his job.
And just a minute later, Randall, with the simplest of combinations, a 1-2 punch, made boxing history.
And I pulled off the ropes, came around, and he was at distance. And I just threw a jab and come right back with the right hand because he was like squared off. He was right there.
Oh, there goes Chavez for the first time in his career! Unbelievable!
Randall threw a lot of other punches that were much harder, but they didn't knock me down. I'm just disgusted with myself.
Chavez, desperate to even the score, was unable to catch the elusive Randall in the final round. But even with the deductions for the low blows and knockdown, the fight was too close to call.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and new champion, Frankie, the Surgeon Randall.
I did cry, yeah. I cried and I shed some tears because it was a moment, and it brings a little tear to the eye now. So, it's very emotional. It was something that, wow, it's a relief of stress and everything off of you. So why not let a little tear out?
Now, months later, as he prepares to defend his title, Randall has come to realize that beating Chavez once is not enough. For in order to earn the respect and recognition he believes he deserves, he must win the rematch convincingly.
I'm going to be determined to go out and win the fight and win it convincingly so I can still get my credibility as a fighter and a world-class fighter.
And while Chavez has reconciled himself to the first and only loss in his remarkable 13-year career, he is eager for the rematch and impatient for his revenge.
I feel it's something I've been able to deal with. I'm fine. Actually, the loss has been a blessing. I've learned a lot from it.
And in the minds of both men, the controversy over the low blows, the knockdown, and the closeness of the decision lingers on.
When we fight again the next time, hopefully I can change a lot of things, and maybe hopefully I can knock him out, where I don't have to be in this position to say, oh, I fought a great fighter and that shouldn't have been taken away because of a knockdown. I hope I can change all those things.
I'm not making any excuses. I know why I lost. I'm not taking anything away from Frankie Randall. One thing's for sure, things will be different May 7th.
Chavez cannot rewrite history, but he might be able to exact revenge against the man who put a blemish on his record. Randall has made a place for himself in history, and tonight we'll see if he is to be remembered as a trivia question or as a true champion. Here we go. The main event is next. Will Randall retain or will Chavez regain the WBC Super Lightweight Championship? Back down to ringside once again, Steve Albert. Steve.
Thank you, Jim. Tonight, Julio Cesar Chavez will enter the ring without a title for the first time in 10 years. That's because Frankie Randall hit one of the biggest jackpots in Las Vegas history. That fateful January night. It compares with some of the most compelling upsets in sports history, like Buster Douglas over Mike Tyson, the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team, the 69 Mets, the 70 Jets, Villanova upsetting Georgetown for the 1985 NCAA basketball championship. It was the real-life version of Rocky Balboa over Apollo Creed. Now, recent events make you wonder, have the skills of Chavez begun to fade? And are we witnessing the end of a great career? Ferdy, your reactions?
I don't really think so, although tonight is not a night to be testing that. The omens are bad. All the old champions have gone down in flames. The three guys that we saw tonight didn't show any of their past sparkle. I don't think that's going to be the case with Chavez. Chavez was stung when he wasn't paying attention to his business. He is now back. He is now well trained. He has no excuses this time. He should fight his fight, and it should be a night of vindication and revenge for Julio Cesar Chavez. Less than that puts his whole career in jeopardy.
You also have to wonder if Frankie finished the job started by Pernell Whitaker, or does he simply have the right stuff to beat Chavez? Bobby, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, Pernell Whitaker started and finished the job all by himself. I thought he beat Chavez. Frankie Randall had his own job, and he did it. He beat Chavez. Now, certainly he had the advantage of looking at some of the things that Whitaker used to expose some of Chavez's weaknesses, as well as we've seemed to think that Chavez maybe only committed 85 or 90% of the usual Chavez that we know. Now, those questions, they'll be answered in just a short while.
And how will Randall handle the role as the champion tonight? Ferdy, what do you think about that?
I don't think he's got any choice but to do exactly what he did last time, which was box a beautiful fight, depend on his conditioning and his superior speed of hand to neutralize everything that Chavez plans to do to him. He is the champion now. He is the one that's got the bull by the horns, and if he fights with the same brio and enthusiasm he did last time, he's got a chance to remain champion on this time. He will be the definite champion. There won't be any guy saying, yeah, that wasn't the real Chavez. This is the real Chavez. This is the real championship. If he wins tonight, Frankie Randall is the champion. No question about it.
How about a prediction?
I think that Chavez has got too much pride, has been at it too long to lose tonight. But stranger things have happened. We've seen three ex-champions wither here, so let's see.
What about a change in strategy, Bobby?
I agree with Ferdy. I don't think he should change much. Speed, hand, and foot speed is going to need it. Quick, sharp counter punches, and then straight right hand down the middle. But certainly, Chavez has made some adjustments. How Frankie Randall handles those adjustments will be key. And I believe, Steve, it's going to be revenge, not repeat.
How about a prediction? I think you just did. So there you have it. Predictions duly recorded as we are just moments away from the rematch between Julio Cesar Chavez and Frankie Randall for the WBC Super Lightweight Championship, with Chavez looking to avenge the only loss of his near flawless career. We're set for the official introductions, so let's go up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the main event of the evening. At this time, we present the entrance of the challenger, introducing El Gran Campeón Mexicano, Julio Cesar Chavez. Voz de la guitarra mía, al despertar en la mañana, quiere cantar su alegría a mi tierra mexicana. Yo le canto a sus colgares, a sus praderas y flores, que son como talismanes del amor de mis amores. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan así, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan aquí. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti. And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, introducing the defending world champion, Frankie, the Surgeon Randall.
It is absolutely wild here. You can't hear yourself think as we check the breakdown, the tail of the tape. At 32, Frankie Randall, 1 year older than Julio Cesar Chavez. The 2-inch height advantage for Randall. Both weighed 140. The reach nearly even. Chavez, a 3-1 favorite. Let's go to the scoring. 10-point must system. 3 scoring judges. No standing 8 count. No 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. Those are your rules. Let's go back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our main event at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the MGM Grand Garden here at the world's largest hotel, casino, and theme park for the main event of the evening in this history-making night of boxing. Brought to you by Don King Productions and King Vision in association with SET Pay-Per-View, La Cerveza Más Fina Corona Beer, and the MGM Grand. This bout is scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing and is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Sulaiman, the supervisor Bobby Lee, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman Dr. Elias Ghanem, commissioners Nat Carasali, Luther Mack, Dr. James Nave, and Crispin Rivera. The executive director is Mark Ratner. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Flip Homansky, Dr. James Game, Dr. James McLennan. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, we have Al Bisick and Jane Broadfoot. Introducing the judges as appointed at ringside. Dalby Shirley, Rai Solis, and Tamotsu Tomihara. All right, fans, here we go with the rematch main event you've all been waiting for. And now,
But down at 1 point for the headbutt.
To take the title. You with this ass.
What a wild finish. It is confusion in the ring right. Chavez just turning away, going toward his corner. interesting is this turn of events now, Bobby?
Oh, I don't know. This is strange. This is strange. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to go. And wherever it does go, it's going to be controversial. There's no way around this one. There's a number 3.
So an unintentional headbutt by Frankie Randall. Mills Lane saying we go to the scorecards. They will score this 8th round, but they will take the point away from Frankie Randall. And you see Mills Lane telling Frankie Randall, very professional job. There's the cut.
Doesn't look bad right now, but it was bleeding very well.
Oh, it was profuse. Well, let's go over to Jim Gray with the doctor. Jim. Crowd is ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. So we're going to throw it up to Jimmy as soon as he is ready. Let's give him a break. Let's give him a chance to figure it all out, because things are very intense. We certainly don't want a repeat of what happened at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio in September with the Nelson Leja fight, when they made a mistake, had to come back 5 minutes later in embarrassing fashion and give us a different decision. So they want to make sure the first time. It looks like as they try to get Frankie Randall out of here as fast as possible. People falling in the path of Frankie Randall. Unbelievable. Look at this. Now, things being thrown at him as he follows the yellow brick road back into his dressing room. Great shot behind closed doors backstage as Frankie Randall rushes back toward the dressing room area. They got him out of there safely. And now the fight doctors, you can see, getting into position to interview Julio Cesar, 74 Chavez, as you see Randall. And then Dalby Shirley of Las Vegas had it 76-75 for Chavez. The fight doctor is standing by the ring. Ferdy.
Was that a butt that he felt was incurred by Randall? Te sorprendió que había, the surprise you it was a big cut.
Que si te sorprendiste que la cortada era tan grande.
Sí, fue un cabezazo. Como que él lo hizo. No sé si él lo hizo de adrede. No creo.
Intentional. He doesn't think it was intentional.
Was he getting tired?
Que si te estabas cansando.
Un poquito, me estaba doliendo el estómago. Yo creo que tomé demasiado líquido.
Yes, he thinks he had drank too much liquid. His stomach was hurting him.
Randall estaba haciendo una gran pelea.
Randall was fighting an excellent fight.
Aquí está, un momento, aquí está Mills. Mills, was that an intentional or unintentional butt?
I thought it was unintentional.
Did you expect it to be that big a cut, and should that fight have been stopped on that cut?
Well, the doctor advised me to stop it. He's a medical person. I didn't think the cut would be that big, but that's a bad cut in a bad place.
Was the fight even as far as you were looking at it? I mean, you were involved in it, you weren't scoring it, but...
Well, you know, my focus is I'm really too close to it. It was a hell of a fight. Both of them were fighting like real warriors. I mean, it was a hell of a fight.
Mills, let's try to look at the monitor here, and we're going to come up with a butt. Aquí está donde te dan con la cabeza. Now watch the head of Randall. See, whack, rare. Obvious, yeah. It was... Yeah. All right. First, happiness and winning.
Primero, ¿cómo te sientes? Felicidad, ganar.
Gracias a Dios, cumplí el pueblo de México. Esta pelea se le dediqué al licenciado Colosio. Gracias porque me dio un gran apoyo de arriba, que en paz descanse. Mañana voy a Madalena de Quino, salgo a las 11 de la mañana, llego a las 2:30. Se nos fue Colosio, pero queda Cedillo, que va para adelante.
He says, thank God he was able to complete and fulfill his promise to the people of Mexico. He did this in honor of Colosio, who is deceased, that Colosio gave him great spirit, strength, that he is going tomorrow morning to Magdalena de Aquino, where he is buried. He's placing his gloves. He is leaving at 11 a.m., and he's very happy.
All right.
Voy a Magdalena de Quino y de ahí salgo para Culiacán, Sinaloa. Llego a las 12 de la tarde. ¡Arriba, México!
Un momento nomás. One more last question. Don, this has got to be such an unsatisfactory end to such a brilliant fight. What's in store? Can we see this again? What's happening?
Yes, indeed, we're going to have a rematch with this one. Julio don't want a victory like that. I don't want one. And Frankie Randall had had already told him that he wasn't going to be this way. This is too great a fight and too great a fighters for them to end with an accidental butt and going to the scorecards. The people want to see this fight to the finish, and that's what we're going to do. But this is another reason for open scoring. If we had open scoring, it wouldn't be no shock at all. Everybody in the arena would know what the rules and the regulations of the game is. Boxing has to come out the dark ages. It has to come back into the 21st century. They must bring boxing where the public knows exactly the scoring mechanism that's going on. Well, this will be a great fight, and Julio and Frankie Randall are two great fighters, and they'll meet again.
Well, let us see what Jim Gray can get out of a discouraged Frankie Randall.
Well, very discouraged and very angry. Frankie, obviously disappointment in the decision. You feel you were robbed?
Yeah, I feel like I was robbed. I feel like the butt was unintentional. If you look at the fight, we was both running close, throwing hard punches. I hurt him several times during the fight. I had to fight going into my position where I was going to get him in somewhere around that in the 9th or 10th round. I was going to stop him. I think it was the open scoring should have been brought to ask in this level of boxing when there's 5 world championship fights out there, and all champions want to see that open score brought into this. Jose Sulaiman didn't want it. Don King wanted it. I think the people wanted it as much as fighters wanted it. I feel like the whole play of this whole ordeal was going based on Chavez. I was a champion, and in my heart, in my spirit, I know I'm still a champion. People saw the fight. I feel like I've done a very tremendous job. Right now, I want to take me a vacation, let myself heal up. I went through my father's funeral. I got married. My father died on the same day. I need a break. I haven't had time to even be myself. I thank God for the talent He gave me. I'm thanking everybody's been around me and make things possible for me for this to happen. I just feel like, everybody know what happened in the fight. I can't say too much about it because this is the way I am.
Frankie, you said when you walked in here that you felt you would be cheated by the judges if it came down to that.
Well, I feel like it was going to be going to his favor if anywhere would be close. I feel like I was dominating the fight. You notice I hit him with a shot maybe the second or third round and hurt him. And later on in the fight got to going when I came back in the 8th round. 7th round I had him going back into my rhythm where he had me playing in his act for a while. When I come back, I had him under the guns when we clashed heads there. But then as the 8th round was getting ready to go by, it happened. And the 9th round, I had him under my guns. I was going to knock him out.
Frankie,
On
tremendous
his way into my hand, okay?
Tremendous performance tonight. We look forward to the third fight between the two combatants. Let's go back outside to Steve Albert.